What's going on, everybody? I'm Kevin from Cigar Prop, and it is another Tech Tip Sunday powered by Monster Energy Rehab. Once again, I mentioned it just once before. We have a new podcast called the Puff and Ponder Podcast that my co-host of the I Tapped That Cigar Show will be doing that weekly um, on the Puff and Ponder Rumble channel and YouTube coming up at the first of the year. We've done a couple episodes already, and I've been uploading, tried at least a couple days a week, Diaries of a Mad Mechanic, and it's rantings about my day. Sometimes there's some extra tips in there. So definitely check out the Puff and Ponder podcast as well for the Diaries of a Mad Mechanic. So this week, a lot's been happening. My daughter got a new car, so I have been tasked with selling her used car. Um, we've had a lot of cars come into the shop uh, um, that you shouldn't be buying, and then we've got a car in the shop now that I got to finish up Monday because I'm waiting on some parts. So on my daughter's car, it's been meticulously maintained. I have fixed everything. I have kept up with it over the 7, 8 years that she's owned it. Tires, brakes, oil changes, every maintenance. When it was under warranty, she went back to the dealership for every little thing that I found. Hers is going to be the perfect used car to buy. Now, when she was looking to sell it, she was going to do it on her own. She had a small chip in the windshield. She got that fixed because she didn't want to sell a car with a chipped windshield. You know, that's my little girl. But she also wanted to spend a couple $100 because of the part to fix an oil leak. And I'm like, Princess, if the car's got 100,000 miles on it, you're going to spend a couple $100. You're not going to get that back out. You can't say, hey, I'm asking $3,400 because I just spent $400 into it. It's a $3,000 car, whether it leaks a little bit of oil or not. She's like, well, we have to at least disclose that. Well, we don't. You know, if you buy a used car and you don't get it inspected, that's on you. I'm not going to hide anything. It's a minor leak. It may leak a quart of oil, half a quart between oil changes. That's not a lot for a car with over 100,000 miles on it. So like I said, I'm not going to hide anything. They ask, does it leak oil? I'm like, yeah, it's got a little oil leak coming from the oil filter housing. You got to drop the exhaust manifold and swap out the whole housing, and because the gaskets are built in. So yeah, it's a couple $100. Figure it out. Or buy the car and bring it to my shop, and then I'll fix it for you. But I'm not fixing it ahead of time. We have that's a good car to buy. And other shops, rental car agencies take their shops to, or take their cars to, independent repair shops or like chain repair shops like mine, to get the oil change done, to get the tires done. You want to stay away from ever buying a rental car. They don't take care of their cars. Oh, the car calls for synthetic oil. We're not paying that. Put in synthetic blend or put in conventional. Yeah, but the manufacturer, we don't care what the manufacturer calls for. You're going to put in what we tell you to put in. Okay? Hey, it's due for its first transmission service. Now, most rental cars, they'll get rid of them after 15, 20,000 miles. You'll see, unless like you get like the real bougie rental cars, you may see those at 50, 60,000 miles on it. But from the big names, you'd be hard pressed to find a rental car with over 30,000 miles on it. But some manufacturers are calling for transmission services, differential services. Before that, decline it every time. No, not doing it. Hey, the air filter is caked with dirt and debris. Yeah, no. Our records say the manufacturer says replace it every 35,000 miles. It's not needed. Don't do it. Hey, you got an all-wheel drive vehicle. 2 tires are bad, but the other 2 are half worn. We need to put 4 tires on here, so not to damage a transfer case. We don't care. Car won't be in our fleet that long. These are the things you have to worry about because you can get a rental car a lot of times for a really, really good price. And these are the things that are going to screw you. They're not taken care of. No rental car agency ever takes care of their cars. Like I said, we service one. I've got friends in other industries that service other big name fleets, even the smaller name fleets. They don't take care of their cars. It is what it is. Don't buy a rental car. I've got a car in my shop right now, a little Lincoln MKZ, MKX. I can't remember which one, with the weird names. It's the sedan. They're getting ready to sell it. It came in running like crap. Ended up having to do 4 spark plugs on it. One coil that was bad. Needed 4 tires. Did need brakes. Recommended brakes. They're at like 3 millimeters. It's right there. They should have done them, but they're like, we're selling it. No, we're gonna bypass the brakes. Not kind of a big deal. Whoever buys it's gonna have to get those done. Uh, I had both a variable valve timing actuators bad, which is kind of weird that both of them would fail, and they're oil activated. So pulled out the engine oil dipstick prior, and it was black. I mean, it was just like tar. They had not maintained this vehicle, and I told him, I said, "There's no solving this." I go, "You can try changing the oil, and resetting the code and see if it comes back." But I go, those actuators are dead, and unfortunately, I got to pull the valve cover to get the actuators, which in this case was good. But a lot of cars, I just unbolt the actuators, pop new ones in, you're good to go. So on this one, pulled the valve cover. You should have seen the sludge on top of this motor. It was just so bad. But yeah, so I unbolted the actuators, put 2 new ones in, new gasket on the valve cover, torqued everything down, changed the oil, got some fresh oil in it, let it run. Check the dipstick. Oil's a little dark. It's going to get much darker as that new oil is starting to break down that sludge. I recommended that they wait a couple of weeks and then change the oil again, just so no debris that new oil is going to be breaking down is going to get in those actuators. They said that they're hoping to sell it fairly quickly, and they won't have to do that. That's a car that they'll be able to prove, "Hey, look at all this work we just did on it." It's in great shape. It's got new tires. Runs like a top. But what happens in a month from now, 2 months from now? That sludge is going to be a long-term issue on this car. It's a Lincoln, so they're gonna sell it for a penny. So, and then whoever buys it's gonna have to put brakes on it too, pads and rotors. So that's, $600-700 job on that one. Those parts are a little pricey on that model. So someone's gonna buy this car thinking they got a great deal, and they didn't. But in that situation, even if you bought that car or you were looking at it and you brought it into my shop and I'm not the one that worked on it, I would go over everything. Now, if I saw that receipt, like, hey, they said they just had this work done, my ears would have perked up. Why did they put 2 valve actuators in it? That's a little strange. Some shops, or maybe they wouldn't bring that info. I would look everything over. I'm like, hey, yeah, you're 3 millimeters on brakes. Manufacturer recommends 2 millimeters. You're going to be looking to have brakes done. But yeah, all in all, this is a good car. I'd buy it. Everything looks like it's been done. A couple months later, hey, my engine blew up, or something else is going on because that sludge is now chunking off. And you said this was a good car to buy, and now you could be into it for thousands of dollars. So what do you do to buy a used car? I don't know. Um, this isn't one of those videos where I give you that answer. This is just one of those videos you've gotta, hopefully you can take it. You've got a good shop. You got a Kevin, that goes through it and then looks at everything. But like I said, I even, I would, I always pop the cap off. I look inside there. Maybe if you asked me, I would run a scope, like an endoscope through the valve cover to see what was in there. But I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm just being out there because people, and in this day and age, prices of used cars have skyrocketed. My daughter's car, it's worth $3,000. 3 years ago, it was worth $1,000. It's got more miles on it, and the value went up. So you got to be really, really careful. Do your due diligence. Don't buy from someone shady. If they look shady or you feel, trust that gut, and listen to it. And if they look shady, the car is going to be shady. That's my only tip for today. Remember, check out Diaries of a Mad Mechanic on the Puff and Ponder podcast. I think we're just uploading those to YouTube right now, so peace.